Alright, now we get to list methods. So things we can do with the list, and they mention 9 of them. There are actually, I think, 12. I went to the W3 schools here, and Python list methods, and it lists, I think, 12 here. It starts with a pen, just like they have. So let's look at all of these actually, just to see what we have here. And we'll, so for a pen, I'll actually click there on this to see, do they have any particular extra usage. And so, for instance, the pen does not. It just appends something to the end of a list. Okay, so let's go to my list. I made a list of classes, and so I have calculus, abstract algebra, geometry, analysis, computational science, linear algebra, so now let's say classes dot append, and let's see, what am I missing here? I got linear algebra, oh, probability. Okay, so let's take a look at that, and print classes. Oops. And so you see it tossed probability on the end. Now what if I had 2 of them? So I could also put statistics as opposed to probability and statistics. So let's try a comma and statistics. And actually I'm going to make the S on this one uppercase. And so let's now run that. And you see, I didn't like that at all. Okay, it accepts 1 argument. Okay, so I couldn't do it that way. What if I make it a list? Try that again. Can I append a list to the end of a list? And notice what it did. It made it a sublist within that list. So that's not what I want to do. Right? So pretty much I would have to add those one at a time. So that's what I'll actually do. Let me copy this. And I'll just come down here and I'll put it in there, and we'll add probability and then statistics. Okay, so now it did what I would have hoped it would do. So that's append. Now I'll do a clear. That was the next one on here. So clear, and again we can look, I'll get rid of that, and we can look to see if that has anything. So it just says clear, just removes all the elements. So we'll try that. Where am I? Right there. And so I'll do classes dot clear, and then print classes. And we'll take a look at that. And notice it gives me an empty list. So it gave the brackets, so it's an empty list. Okay. So I'm not gonna keep that as cleared, and when next time we run, we'll get our stuff back. Oops. So they have insert, and and let's look here. They have copy. Okay. So again, let's take a look at those subtleties with lists and so forth. Is that let me say courses equals classes, and subjects equals classes dot copy. Okay, and now let's check if these are the same. Okay, so let's look back here a little bit at where that was the list parameters, cloning, aliasing. So, again, we can check the A is B for both of these. That idea with the aliasing, because here it would say the one's the same object, but maybe the other one is not. And notice they don't have copy in here, but they showed us another way to copy things. And so we'll print classes is courses, and we'll also print classes is subject, and we'll run that. Let's see what happened. Oh, subjects. Subjects. Try that again. Notice the first was true, that courses and classes are the same object. But false if I use the copy. Okay, so number of ways to make a copy that we've seen, but this is a class method that would, or a list method that would do that for us. Okay, so that's copy. Count returns number of elements in the with the specified value. Okay, so yeah, I could do something like that. So let's get I'm going to get rid of this, and well, let's see, we should no, I don't think we'll need to do that. So let's let n equal classes dot count, and in this case we only have one of each item, but it will count. Let's go with geometry, and we'll print n. And get rid of this. Run that, and you see we just have one. So I'm going to pause this for a minute. Okay, so this had a count of 1, and that's what we would have expected to have in there. So let's see, let's look at our list. We have count, extend, add the elements of a list to the end of the current list. So see, we tried append, but that's an element. We could do extend, and we should be able to add a list then. So if we go here and we say, now instead of append, we say extend, and we get rid of this and our computation, and then we'll highlight that, go in here with a comma, okay, our end bracket for our list, and there we go. Whoops. And there we have it. And so now we should get this same output. And so sure enough we do. So it extended our list by another list. So see, if we need to add more than one thing, it has that, which you would think it would, and definitely it does. Okay. Index returns the index of the first element with the specified value. Now let's take a look at that and see if there's a way to start it. And no, unlike the find in string, this index doesn't have a way to look past a certain spot, so it will always just find that first item in the list that matches. And so again, we could go down here and well, instead of count, let's do classes index. And so we want to know the index of geometry, which should be 2. And sure enough, we got 2. So now I would know, where geometry is in the list. So that can come in handy. Insert. Okay, now insert, you see, that will have an index position with it. So see, insert orange at 1 here. And so we can tell it the position we want it to put on. Instead of, append, it just puts it at the end. Extend, it just puts it at the end. But here, we can actually put it in a particular place. And again, we can try a couple things with that. So we have extend. Let's take that one out for a moment. And so instead of using append on statistics, let's insert that. Okay, so we'll insert statistics, and we'll insert it in right after abstract algebra. So we'll insert it where geometry is. So 2, comma. And so we should see this list become calculus, abstract algebra, statistics, then geometry, and we won't have the probability on there yet. So sure enough, there it is. It's the third item, or index number 2. Now geometry has index number 3. And so again, the question is, well, can we insert more than one thing? So let's try inserting probability and statistics. as a list in here and see what it does. It may insert it, you know, as that sublist. Let's try that. Here we go. And you see it kept it as a sublist. So that certainly didn't work. Now I guess we could try it as a tuple, but I doubt that will work either. But it's always worth always worth trying. And you see it inserted as a tuple. So what we can do is we could insert, say, statistics, okay, at 2, and we'll go ahead and continue to just extend by putting probability at the end here. So I need to get rid of my extra brackets there and uncomment that. And so we can, oh, what just happened? Oh, interesting. Now, I did not expect that. Wow, look at that. Okay, so I extend, if we look back at that and what it says, add the elements of a list or any iterable to the end of the current list. And so, yeah, I didn't expect that. I had never tried that. So what it did was it said, oh, take this string, but basically it enumerated the string. It split it up into all of those. So, ooh, bad idea. So we'll switch that back to append. Well, okay, or another possibility, let's make it into a one element list, and it should do just fine. So we'll run that, and you see there it did just fine. But yeah, okay, so if I don't have the brackets around it, it looks at it as a string which has, all these different pieces, and it added those one piece at a time. So like I said, I did not expect that one, but now we know. So insert pop removes an element at the specified position. So if we instead of getting the index of geometry, if we say pop and geometry was third now at this point. We had the calculus, abstract algebra, statistics, geometry. So we're going to pop element 3, and we're going to print classes again. And it doesn't have an output like that, it's a string, so print print classes, and so we should see that minus the geometry. And sure enough, no geometry in that list. Okay, so that's pop. Remove the first item with the specified value. Okay, so we could obtain the same thing we just did. So if we knew, here we knew we wanted to remove, say, index 3, but it may be that we don't know that. We just know we want to remove. We don't know where it is, but we just want to remove geometry from here. So I'll put that in here instead. and run that, and we should get that same output, which we do. Now, we could use a couple things in common. So, you know, suppose I have no idea what the let's see, geometry is at the third spot. Suppose I wanted to remove the value, you know, the value geometry. Wasn't exactly sure where it was. Let's see, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a situation where you might need to get the index and then remove it by the index. But you know, when I think about it, if you know what it is you want to remove, you could just use this. So yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more to be said about that. So that, and then reverse. Oh, that's neat, huh? Reverse the order of the list. And so let's reverse and then show that. We don't want to say geometry, we just want to reverse it. And we'll run that. And so you see it did just that, it reversed the list. That would be handy to try to figure out palindromes, that kind of thing. And then finally, sort. Now, let's see what this is. You know, if these were all numbers, I'd know exactly what's going to happen. But remember that with strings, it does uppercase first. So, let's see what happens when we sort this. And so you see all the uppercase came first, and then the lowercase. Actually, as a homework problem, I'm going to ask you to try to figure out how to sort a list that does have that mixture of uppercase and lowercase, because what we'd like to see is probably abstract algebra, then analysis, then calculus, then computational science, then geometry, then linear algebra, probability, and then finally statistics, if we thought we were sorting this by true alphabetical order, not thinking about the upper and lower case. So you'll probably want to go back and review strings to try to look at that. And also remember, you know, we do have a link in here, W3 Schools, that would take you to W3 Schools, and you know, Python's up here. And then notice, you know, Python, string methods. Let's see if they just have Python. Oh no, that's yeah. So lots of things to choose from here. Strings, you know, you could start there, but you could also look at string methods. You know, so there you could review strings, not just in our text, but in here as well. And so this doesn't have the methods, but you see, you just keep coming down here, and it's ways down here. It's under the reference. So string methods. Notice capitalize converts the first character uppercase, hint hint. Case fold converts the string into all lowercase, hint hint. You know, so you know, if you review your string methods, you can probably do that to alphabetize your list of strings. Okay, so I think think that does it for that section.